Okay, so we just had a look at using while loops and if statements together. Let's make this a little fancier. Let's make an averaging program where we're taking user input and averaging some numbers that they put in. This seems slightly more useful than a lot of the stuff we've seen before. To start out, I'm going to make a scanner. I'm going to make sure I've imported the scanner class. And now I'm also going to make a counter just to help out with our while loop. Now I'm going to take some input. I'm going to set items equal to scan.nextInt. Okay, and I'm going to say here, or not scan, input. I'm going to say system.out.println. How many items are you averaging? There we go. Question. Okay, so we type in the number of items. Now we can set our condition. We know how many items we have, so we can say counter while the counter is less than the number of items we're going to execute our loop. So let's see what happens here. Okay, well, what other things do I need to keep track of? Maybe a sum. We'll start out at 0. And what are we going to look at? We're going to say system.out.println, enter a number. And still for now, we're looking at making sure we're going to assume that the user is putting in appropriate input. I'll show you an example later on of how to handle inputs that you're not expecting. So first we're going to enter a number, and we are going to add it to our sum. So sum plus equals input dot next int. Okay, so we have input.nextInt. We're adding it to our sum. And that's really all we're going to do, except for incrementing our counter, right? So we're going to add each number. Okay, and this will not execute if you put in 0 items. It'll just quit. If you put in 1 item, it'll add one, and then it'll add 1 to this. And we will then see that this would be false, and we jump to the bottom. So no matter what someone puts in, unless they put in a negative number, we're in pretty good shape. I'll add something at the back of this video to show you how to handle input like negative numbers. But for now, we can have a while loop that counts how many items we have up to the number of items we desire, and stops taking input once we reach that value. Now at the bottom, I'm going to say, okay, well, we've taken all our numbers and we've added them up. How do I calculate the average? Well, technically we're calculating the arithmetic mean, and I would say the arithmetic mean is plus sum divided by items. And we might want to turn this into a double. So we'll have one of the items, one of the objects be, one of our numbers be casted to a double, and we'll see how this works. Okay. This is a very simple program. Let's see how it goes. I'll run this. How many items are you averaging? Let's say I'm averaging 2 items. I'll enter a number. Let's say 3 and 2. And it says the arithmetic mean is 2.5. That's exactly what I'd expect. So I've made an averaging calculator that stops when I'm done with my list of numbers, and prints something out. The mean, in fact, the arithmetic mean. If I wanted to find the geometric mean, I could certainly do that. It's just another math operation. But the important thing here is I'm prompting the user, they're entering info, I'm adding it to my sum, and then I'm increasing the counter and comparing it to the number of items they put in above here. Okay, so there are a couple caveats with this program. The first is that, okay, so what if someone puts in a negative number? Maybe I'll want them to re-enter their input. I could do that with a loop and an if statement. If items is, and actually I don't even have to do that, I could say while items is less than 0, I can say please enter a positive value. And then I can say items equals input dot next int. Okay, a positive or 0 value. So here I'll run this, and how many items am I averaging? -1. Please enter a positive or 0 value, -2, -3. Okay, as positive or 0 value. I keep checking until they enter the proper number. Let's say I'll average 3 items. Now it goes to the next loop. Because I fulfilled my condition, items is no longer less than 0. That becomes false. I skip down here, and I start my program. Enter a number. Let's say 4, 2, and 1. The average is 2 and about 1/3. In fact, it is 2 and 1/3. We just have a little bit of some double inaccuracy here. But in general, this program will work out a little bit better now. Now this won't handle input like strings instead of numbers. For that we'll have to use a try-catch, which we don't yet know. But this is a nice little program that uses a number of things you've seen before, along with loops, to create a nice little averaging program. Okay.